so today we're learning about saturation. We're learning what it is, what it sounds like, and how to set up the basic features. Now it always sounds great on drums, so we're going to start there. And this is what the loop sounds like without saturation and with saturation. Without and with. So you can see it's adding a little bit of volume, but it's also making it a lot brighter, sharper, clearer. Okay, and we're going to go into that later, why that's actually happening. So now we know what it sounds like. What is it? Saturation occurs naturally when engineers run a signal too hot into a mixing deck or a device or a tape machine. So that's what's happening here. We're driving the volume by 10 decibels into this device. Okay. Now when that happens, it famously creates that warm sound. Why? Because on the output is reduced. So it's being run too loud into this device. And when that happens, this device does a natural form of compression and limiting. And it's that process which creates a warm sound. Okay, that classic warm sound that you're always hearing about. So when this happens, the result is saturation, and we're smoothing and rounding out the signal as it comes out of this device. So instead of it being a nice waveform like that, it's being slightly capped at the tops and the bottoms, and that's why it's similar to compression and limiting. All right, so let's look at how to set it up. That's one we did before. I'll show it to you in the mix as well. So this is saturation being applied correctly as well. You can really overdo it with saturation, and I'll show you how it should just be that subtle kind of salt or chili on the top of your mix and not completely smashed and dominating your mix. All right, so what we've got to do is just drag the template saturator in. These presets are pretty cool, so try them out. But the template's one all we need for today. So as the definition, we're going to drive the input signal, okay, making it nice and loud coming into this saturator. And I did 12.6 this time. So I'm going to start by turning it down by 12.6, okay. And that's our first step. We drive it in and then we turn it down so that the device is actually capping that signal and we're getting that natural form of compression and limiting. This also helps our gain structure and gain staging, so that 1 decibel in is 1 decibel out. Remember, the way we do this is using our peak meter and looking at our RMS. So let's do that now. I know with it off, we're at minus 13.8. Around there. So when I turn it on, we should also be at minus 13.8. We might just have to adjust this, and that's the process. Quiet, so we can take it up a bit. And there we are. Now that's the absolute basics of saturation and its definition. We're doing natural compression and limiting, which is raising the overall RMS volume, giving it more clarity and loudness in the high end for these drums. But the last thing I always do is run it in parallel. The reason why we run it in parallel is because saturation by default gets rid of our transients, because it's that natural compression and limiting. So by running in parallel or doing parallel saturation, so it's just anything besides 100%, 90%, 95 is fine, even down to 50 is fine depending on how hard you're smashing it, you know. Anywhere in between here, what that's doing, I'll just round it off to 80, is allowing your transients still to cut through in the mix, so it's still making your drums nice and punchy and really easy to hear, while giving some of this nice color and tone and warmth to them, okay? So once we do that, we will again have to adjust the output, but it'll only be slightly. So the peak meter's fine, and if our RMS is around 30 right now, you can see we've kind of stabilized our RMS, just overall making it sound a little bit more consistent. Cool. And that's about it, okay?